Hello students and welcome in today's session. Today we are going to see about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals part 2, right? In earlier video we have seen in chemical reactions that reactions of metals and non-metals with the oxygen and with acids, right? Now today with the oxygen and with water, right? So today we are going to see about the reaction of metals and non-metal with acids, right? Now see here, whenever any metal reacts with the acid, then what products are formed and what is the general reaction of metals with acid? One activity is given. See here, take a sample of a metal and non-metal listed in table 4.5. So this is the table given here, right? And in this table different name of the metals and non-metals are given, right? So magnesium, it is metal, aluminium foil, it is metal, and fillings, it is metal, right? Copper, it is metal, charcoal and sulfur is there, that is the non-metal. So this is the list of metals and non-metals are there, right? Now ahead it is said that take a test tube and label them as A, B, C, D, E and F, right? With the help of a dropper, add 5 ml of dilute hydrochloric acid. Means you added acid in each test tube, right? Now to each test tube one by one, observe the reactions carefully. If no reactions occurs in the cold solution, warm the test tube gently. Bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of each test tube. Repeat the same activity using dilute sulfuric acid instead of a dilute hydrochloric acid. Now hydrochloric acid and dilute sulfuric acid, both are acid. So here we are testing whatever the list we have seen here, these all metal and non-metals reactions with acid, right? So here we have selected the acid is a hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid, right? And record your observation. See, it is said here that there is a difference in the way metals and non-metals reacts with the acid. See, whenever it is said that you have to bring a burning matchstick, right? It's said that bring a burning matchstick near the mouth of each test tube. So see here what is written. The pop sound in some cases be due to when the burning matchstick is brought near the mouth of the test tube. Do you remember this pop sound indicates what? Actually this pop sound is there. It indicates the burning of the hydrogen gas, right? So this is actually the test for hydrogen gas. Whenever we bring the burning matchstick near the test tube and if that gas is a hydrogen gas, we are able to listen the pop sound, right? So wherever you will able to hear the pop sound with the burning matchstick, there you 100% be sure that the hydrogen gas is released in that reaction, right? You must have found that non-metals generally do not react with acid. Just highlight this sentence. Here we have seen the pop sound is made by the burning matchstick at the mouth of the test tube. But here it is said that non-metals do not react with the acid. Means this is the reaction of the metals with the acid and non-metals do not react with the acid, because as we add the hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid along with the non-metals, they remains as it is. No reaction occurs over there. But in case of metals reacts with the acid and produce hydrogen gas, right? And this gas is the only gas which burns with a pop sound when we bring the burning matchstick at the mouth of the test tube, right? So in this table, see, these 4 metals are there, 2 non-metals are there. Reaction with the dilute hydrochloric acid at a room temperature, and if does not reaction takes place at a room temperature, then you have to warm and you have to write your observations over here, right? And the same metals, whenever it will be react with the sulfuric acid, then what happens at the room temperature and when we gently warm them. This you have to noted in this table, right? See here, copper does not react with the dilute hydrochloric acid even on heating, but it reacts with the sulfuric acid, right? So this you remember that copper is a metal only reacts with the sulfuric acid and not with the dilute hydrochloric acid. Even if it is not reacted at room temperature and then we heat it, right, gently warm it, then also it does not show any kind of reaction with the acid, but the same copper will show the reaction with the sulfuric acid. So this is what the reaction of the metals and non-metals with the acid. So in short, we can say that metals reacts with acid and non-metals do not react with acid. If the non-metals do not react with the acid, there is no any observation that we have to conclude that, right? And as the metals reacts with the acid, remember that whenever the metal reacts with the acid, they forms their particular salt, and along with that hydrogen gas is released, right? Now this is we have tested these metals reaction with the hydrochloric acid and sulfuric acid. So among that, copper is the metal which does not show reaction with the hydrochloric acid, but copper reacts with the sulfuric acid. This you remember. And non-metals do not react with the acids, right? So this is what we have seen, the reaction of the metals and non-metals with the acid, right? Now see the reaction of the metals and non-metals with the base. See here, the D point is there, reaction with bases, right? So metals and non-metals, how they react with base. See, activity is given. During the preparation of the sodium hydroxide solution, care should be taken that pellets of sodium hydroxide are handled with a plastic spatula, right? Prepare a fresh solution of sodium hydroxide in a test tube by dissolving 3 to 4 pellets of it in a 5 ml of water. Yes, sodium hydroxide's white color pellets are available in the lab, right? So just take that 3-4 pellets in the test tube, add little amount of water, that is a 5 ml of water, and try to dissolve these pellets of sodium hydroxide, right? So this will gives you the solution of a sodium hydroxide in water. Drop a piece of aluminium foil into it, means aluminium is a metal, right? Sodium hydroxide, if you will see, it is a base, OH group is there, right? So it is a base. Now here we can see aluminium, as it is a metal. When we drop this aluminium into a sodium hydroxide solution, so definitely metal will react with a base. Drop a piece of aluminium foil into it. Bring a burner matchstick near the mouth of the test tube and observe carefully. Now here you have to see what happens, right? Here also, as we bring the burning matchstick to the mouth of the test tube, pop sound comes, right? And again we can see that pop sound indicates the presence of hydrogen gas. Means in this also, whenever the metal reacts with the sodium hydroxide, they will produce a hydrogen gas as an product, right? So here also, whenever the metal reacts with the acid, then also hydrogen gas is produced. Whenever the metal reacts with the base, then also hydrogen gas is produced, right? And if we see the non-metals reaction with the bases, it is little bit complex reaction, right? So that's why it is not given for your class, right? A standard. This you will study in higher classes, right? Now the same you will see with the slide. Reaction with acid. Metal reacts with acid to form the metallic salt. So whatever the respective metal is there, that respective metal salt will be formed along with the hydrogen gas, and this test we have taken with the matchstick. It will produce a pop sound. Reaction is given. Zinc reacts with the dilute hydrochloric acid to form zinc chloride, right? And hydrogen gas is released. See the molecular form of reaction. Zn is nothing but a zinc, right? Plus HCl means hydrochloric acid. H capital, C capital, L small. Most of the time students write L capital. So don't write L capital here, write the L small. HCl is the molecular formula for hydrochloric acid, right? Now whenever the zinc reacts with the hydrochloric acid, it forms the salt of the metal. Zinc chloride is formed, ZnCl2. Here two atoms of chlorine are required to satisfy a one molecule of zinc. That's why 2 HCl is required. So 2 chlorine molecules will come and remaining 2 hydrogen will be released as an H2 gas, right? So this is what the reaction of metals with acid. Same like that you can do with the sulfuric acid. Formula for sulfuric acid is H2SO4. So Zn plus H2SO4 gives ZnSO4 plus H2, right? Now most non-metals do not react with the acid. This we have seen, right? Some non-metals like sulfur reacts with concentrated nitric acid to form sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and water, right? So nitric acid, this is also acid, right? So some of the non-metals are there like the sulfur. When they react with the acid, the reaction takes place like this: sulfur plus HNO3. HNO3 is the molecular formula of nitric acid, right? So one sulfur molecule, one sulfur atom reacts with the 4 molecules of nitric acid. So it is written 4, right? And gives SO2, sulfur dioxide. 2 O2 is there. So it is sulfur dioxide, right? Plus NO2, that is nitrogen dioxide. 2O oxygen is there too. So nitrogen dioxide. Along with the sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide, water molecules are released. So 2 molecules of water, 4 molecules of nitrogen dioxide and 1 molecule of sulfur dioxide is formed whenever the sulfur is reacts with nitric acid, right? And with the bases we have seen that the same metals when reacts with the base, they release the hydrogen gas, and this will be tested by pop sound with the burning mastic. And non-metals reaction with base is very complicated, so it is not given. Now see the next chemical property, that is the displacement reaction. Now displacement is as like a replacement. Suppose the one of the substance is there, you just remove that substance and add someone else over there. So the earlier substance get replaced by someone or get displaced, right? So earlier it is there, you just make them aside and you be there. So this is what a displacement. So in case of metals and non-metals, we can see the displacement of some of the elements takes place. So one metal can displace the another metal. So like that some of the reactions we are seeing in the displacement reaction. So for that, see, one activity is given. Take 100 ml beakers and label them as A, B, C, D and E, right? So 5 beakers are there. Take about 50 ml of water in each beaker. Dissolve in each beaker a teaspoonful of each substance as indicated in figure 4.6. Now check the figure 4.6, right? So this is the figure 4.6. In that A and B is there. So see the figure A is there. In that beaker A, B, C, D, E is there, right? Then what contains A, B, C, D, E? Here it is given beaker A contains copper sulfate, right? Copper sulfate is blue in color. You can see here the blue color solution, right? So the copper sulfate is blue in color and the formula for copper sulfate is CuSO4. Now see carefully. C is capital, U is small, right? So this is copper. Sulfate formula is SO4. S capital, O capital, O4 is at the base of sulfate, right? So CuSO4 is the copper sulfate. Plus zinc granules are added in it, right? What we have added in beaker A? Copper sulfate plus zinc granules, right? This is there in the beaker A. Then beaker B is there. In that again we have the copper sulfate. As the copper sulfate blue in color, again we can see the blue color solution in the B beaker, right? And in that solution here we have added iron nail, means here the metal is iron. Fe means iron, right? Zinc granules, metal is zinc, Zn. So here first solution is there, that is the same, copper sulfate. But here we have added another metal, that is the zinc. Here we have seen that the both beakers A and B contains the same solution, that is the copper sulfate. But along with this we have added two different metals. Here we have added zinc and here we have added iron, right? Now the C beaker is there. In this you can see the one colorless solution is there, and at the base also you can see something, right? Now what is it? In the beaker C there is a zinc sulfate solution is there, and in that zinc sulfate, zinc Zn, right? And sulfate formula is SO4. Remember this. Whenever sulfate comes, it will be SO4. So ZnSO4 is a zinc sulfate plus copper turnings, right? Copper turning means here the metal is copper. So whatever you can see here, that black color, that is nothing but the copper, right? Then beaker D is there, that contains iron sulfate. So in that metal is iron and sulfate group is there, SO4 sulfate group, right? So iron sulfate FeSO4. Along with the iron sulfate solution, copper turnings are added. Means here again we have added the metal copper, right? Means here the solutions are different and added metal is the same. Beaker E is there, last one, fifth beaker is there. In that we have added zinc sulfate solution along with the iron nail, right? Now in these 5 different beakers, if you will see, the combination of the two metals are there, right? So here copper with zinc, copper with iron, zinc with copper, iron with copper, and zinc with iron. Like that we have seen here the combinations, right? Now you can see that the two metals are there. Among that, here this side all metals are there. They are only metals, right? Here they are only metals. Means here only zinc is there, only iron is there, only copper is there, and only here also iron is there. But this side if you will see, they are in the form of combination, right? In the group zinc with sulfate. So zinc sulfate is there, right? Iron sulfate in combination it is there. So here the one metal is with another molecule, another group. So they have a compound over here, right? And along with this compound we have here pure metal. Now why this is here? So to understand this reaction and what happens over here in this, for this you need to understand one reactive series. So let's see the reactive series. See, this is the reactive series, right? Now what is mean by the reactive series? When we consider the reactive series, that time you just remember that in the reactive series we have just arranged the metals, right? From top to the bottom, right? And here the arrangement is like that. The highest reactive metal is there, that will be at the top, right? Then below that less reactive, then below that less reactive, then below that less reactive, and whichever will be at the bottom, it will be the least reactive or no reaction is there, it will be non-reactive, right? Or if it will be reactive, then also very least reactive, very less reactive, right? So you just understand this, that very strong metal is there, that will be at the top, and very weak metal is there in case of reaction, right, to carry out the reaction. So that will be at the base. So you just imagine that we are arranged the metals according to their strength, how they forms the compound with the other molecule. Now see here the reactive series. The arrangement of metals is in the decreasing order, means the highest at the top and lowest at the bottom, right, of their reactivity. This is called as a reactivity series of a metal, right. Now in this, if you will see, check the position of each metal. Potassium, then below that sodium, then magnesium, then aluminium, then zinc, then iron, lead, copper, silver, and at last gold, right. So you can see here in this position, sodium is there. You have seen the sodium is the highest reactive. Yesterday we have seen that if we add the sodium in the water, it will just get blast. Sodium reacts very fast, very vigorously with the water, so highly reactive, right. Then below that magnesium is there, aluminium is there, zinc is there, iron is there. Iron if you keep outside, right, then within a few days it will just get rusted when it reacts with the air or moisture and oxygen, right. But as you come down here at the base, there is a silver, there is a gold, right. Now you just keep the gold open as it is. Is the gold reacting with the air, oxygen, water, or any other metal and forms a compound? No, gold will be remain as it is, because as we are wearing the jewelry of the gold, right. So for years it will be remain of the same shining, right. Why? Because they are very least reactive. They are non-reactive. They do not easily get react with the any other element or metal, right. Same like that silver also. Silver may get react in presence of heat, right, temperature, right, and it becomes or it looks like little bit blackish color, but it is not with the gold. So that's why silver is up and below that gold is there. So this is what the reactivity series. Now whatever the metals we have seen in the activity, in that which metals we have seen, in that we have seen the zinc, right, in that we have seen the iron, in that we have seen the copper, right. So you just remember their sequence. Zinc, then below that iron, below that copper. What else is there? Zinc, copper, iron, right. Other than that, no any other metal is there. So once again see the reactivity. Zinc is the topmost, below that the iron, and copper is below that. So among these three, the strongest one is the zinc, then second number is the iron, and third number is the copper. Just remember this, right. So if you remember this, then you will understand the reaction. Now see here, wherever the zinc is there, that can replace the copper or the iron, right. But as the copper is at the lower side, it cannot replace the zinc or the iron. Iron can replace the copper, but iron cannot replace the zinc, right. Now see here, copper sulfate plus zinc is there. Now here you have to compare the copper and zinc. Who is the stronger among these two? Zinc is the stronger, right. So this zinc will go and replace the copper, displace the copper. It will just make the copper aside and comes at the place of a copper. So here we can make a compound zinc sulfate plus copper, right. So in the first beaker you can see that whenever this reaction takes place, then zinc granules are there. From that zinc displaces the copper and the zinc sulfate solution is formed, and the copper from that sulfate group is get separated and displaced as a only copper, right. So this is what is known as displacement reaction. here the copper is get displaced by the zinc. Now why zinc is able to displace the copper? Because zinc is stronger than the copper. Zinc is more reactive than the copper. In the reactivity series we have seen zinc is here and below that iron is there and below that then copper is here. So copper is weak, right, less reactive than the zinc. That's why zinc can replace the copper. Now see the beaker B. In the beaker B you can see that copper sulfate and iron nail is there. Again you have to compare the position of the iron and copper in the reactive series. If you will see, iron is upside than the copper. Copper is below the iron. Means here again iron is stronger. Iron is more reactive than the copper. So iron can replace the copper, right? So that's why here the reaction takes place. This iron will go and displace the copper from this solution and forms the iron sulfate. It comes at the place of copper and forms the iron sulfate, and copper will be get separated as a copper. See the second beaker B is there. After reaction iron sulfate solution is formed of green color and at the base you can see the copper is get displaced, right? Now the third beaker is there. See, in that zinc sulfate is there and copper turnings are there. Now again you have to compare the strength of these two metals, zinc and the copper. Check the reactivity series. Zinc is there upside, right, and copper is at the downside. So more reactive is the zinc, copper is less reactive. Now in case of reactivity you have to just consider that the strength of the metal to form a compound. As a zinc is more reactive, it has formed the sulfate compound, right, and copper is less reactive. So in this reaction, as the copper is less reactive, copper cannot displace the zinc, right? So as here copper is weak, as it comes over here and try to displace the zinc, but zinc sulfate has a stronger bond, right, as it is very reactive. This cannot be displaced. So zinc sulfate will be remain as a zinc sulfate because copper is weak, right? But suppose in case of copper over here, the any metal which is placed above the zinc, suppose sodium or magnesium or potassium would be there, then definitely zinc would be get replaced. But here copper is there, that's why zinc is not replaced. Same, so the solution of the beaker C remains as it is, right? What? Zinc sulfate solution plus copper turning as it is remain. No reaction takes place here. Same it is there in the beaker D. Iron sulfate is there with the copper. Again copper is weak, less reactive metal than the iron. Iron is stronger. So copper cannot displace the iron, right, from this compound. So this compound will be remain as it is. Iron sulfate will be iron sulfate only, right? So no reaction takes place over here. And the last beaker is there, zinc sulfate with iron nail. Now if you compare the zinc and iron, then also here iron is weak as compared to the zinc, because zinc is upside and iron is below that. So that's why iron is less reactive than the zinc and zinc is highly reactive than the iron. So it forms the stronger compound here. So iron cannot displace the zinc. So here also we cannot see any reaction. That's why in beaker C, D and E no change is there, right? So this is what the reactions we have seen in the displacement reaction. In beaker A, zinc replaces the copper to form copper sulfate, right? Blue color of copper sulfate get disappear and powdery rays of red mass of copper is deposited at the bottom of beaker. This is what the reaction given here. Copper sulfate plus zinc gives zinc sulfate plus copper. Zinc is stronger, it replaces the copper or displaces the copper and zinc sulfate is formed, right? Like that same reaction we have seen in the beaker B, right? So in a beaker B also the similar type of displacement reaction we have seen. but in case of beaker C, D and E, we cannot see any change in that, because here the displacement does not takes place, because the copper is weak and the metals are there, they are stronger than that, so no displacement reaction takes place over there, so no change is observed. See here, reason is given. There is a definite rule based on that fact, reactivity series, right? So based on that, zinc is more reactive than the copper and iron. More reactive metal can replace a less reactive metal, but less reactive metal cannot replace the more reactive metal. So based on this only, beaker A and B reactions takes place, and beaker C, D, E we cannot see any reaction, right? So the sequence of the metals from the more reactive to less reactive among zinc, iron and copper is there. This is what it is called as the reactivity series. So this is what the reactivity series is given here. So you have to just note down this reactivity series in your notebook. Whenever you will write the note, in that this need to be added, because this is not given in your textbook. So please note down this in your textbook at this point, wherever the displacement reaction is given, right? So here metal replaces metal. This is what we have seen here, some of the examples. More reactive metal replaces less reactive metal from its salt solution. Magnesium replaces copper from the copper sulfate solution, Mg plus CuSO4. So copper is get replaced by the Mg. So magnesium sulfate solution is formed, copper is free. Zinc replaces copper from the copper sulfate solution. Zinc plus copper sulfate gives zinc sulfate plus copper. Iron replaces copper from the copper sulfate solution. So this we have seen, right? This is one new is there. This you can add in your notes. Magnesium replaces the copper in copper sulfate solution, right? So this what all it is there, that is based on the reactivity of the metals, right? And add this reactivity series of the metals in your notes, right? Next point, see, there are some of the noble metals are there. Noble metals means what? Those who do not react. Noble metals means what? Those who do not react or very least reactive, right? They will be remain as it is. They will not react with any other metal, right? So these metals are called as the noble metals. I have given the example of gold, silver, platinum, right? So these are the metals, very least reactive metals. You can found them as it is in the pure form in the environment, right? So these are called as the noble metals. See here, the noble metals like gold, silver, platinum retain their luster because they do not react with air, water or acid. So that's why they are called as a noble metals, right? Gold dissolves in aqua regia, right? Aqua regia is a mixture of concentrated nitric acid and concentrated hydrochloric acid in the ratio 1:3, right? So in this mixture only the gold dissolves. Otherwise it does not react with the air, water or any acid. Pure gold is there, that is of 24 karat gold, and it is very soft, cannot be used for making ornaments, right? So that's why this gold will be mixed with the some other metals like silver or the copper, and it makes the hard to make the jewelry, and that's why the carat goes decreasing. 22 carat, 21 carat, 18 carats jewelries will be available. More designed ornaments are there, means we have to make them more hard, right? Then and then only we can make them more designed, more beautiful. Means there the carat of the gold is decreased, purity of the gold is decreased, right? So this is what the noble metals. Yes. So today we have seen about the chemical properties of the metals and non-metals, and in that we have seen the remaining properties, that the reaction of the metals and non-metals with the acid, then with the base, and displacement reaction, right? So displacement is takes place according to the reactivity series. So whatever their sulfate compound is there of the metal is get replaced by the more reactive metal from that sulfate compound, right? If the less reactive metal is there, then that cannot be replaced the highly reactive metal. So whatever the displacement reactions are given in your textbook, prepare that very nicely. Based on that, so many times question asked in the exam, right? If you have any doubt related to that, write in comment box. If no doubt is there, then like the video and complete your notes. Don't forget to add the reactive series in your notes, right? Complete the notes. All the best.